It's been a whole year, one full year, since I told my husband at a block party, "You're just the father of my kids, not my soulmate." Sounds like the setup to a bad joke, right? Except this time the joke's on me. Justin's engaged. Her name is Ashley. And she's exactly the kind of woman I used to make fun of. You know the type, CrossFit, meal prepping, actually enjoys farmers markets. But the worst part? She's genuinely nice. And that somehow makes it even worse. The kids adore her. Last week, Emma came home excited, telling me how Ashley taught her to braid her hair the cool way, like it's some groundbreaking skill I never bothered to learn. And I won't lie, that stung more than I expected. Before I go any further, if you like real-life drama, bad decisions, and emotional chaos you can't look away from, stick around. Because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that sometimes you don't realize what something's worth until you lose it. Now back to my mess. Justin and I were married for 8 years. We weren't perfect, but we had a rhythm. Life was a checklist: get married, buy a house, have kids, repeat. And for a while I thought that was enough. But somewhere along the way, I got restless. Not unhappy, just bored. And when you're bored, you start picking apart things that don't need fixing. His laugh was too loud. His jokes too corny. His shirts always slightly wrinkled. I convinced myself he wasn't the one. Whatever that even means after years of shared bank accounts and school drop-offs. The block party that night was like any other. Neighbors pretending they liked each other more than they liked the kids running around, hyped up on lemonade and cotton candy. A couple of drinks in, I was feeling bold, surrounded by friends who nodded along to my complaints like they were gospel. I don't even remember what led up to it, but I heard myself say, loud enough for Justin, and probably half the block to hear, "He's just the father of my kids, not my soulmate." The words hung in the air like smoke from a cheap grill. Justin didn't say anything. He just gave me this look, not angry, not hurt, just empty. Then he nodded, turned around, and went back to flipping burgers like I hadn't just torched our entire marriage with one sentence. I thought we'd laugh about it later. After all, we'd had worse fights. But we didn't. That night, he slept on the couch. The next night, too. A week later, he moved out. At first, I was defiant. Good riddance, I told myself. Now I get to rediscover who I am outside of being someone's wife. But the silence in the house grew louder with each passing day. No more clinking of his coffee mug in the morning. No more dad jokes at dinner. Just me, the kids, and the echo of my own arrogance. When he started dating Ashley, I didn't think much of it. It's just a rebound, I told myself. But then she stuck around. The kids liked her. Justin smiled differently around her. Lighter, freer. Like he wasn't carrying the weight of my constant disappointment anymore. I remember the first time I saw them together at the kids' soccer game. She was sitting next to him, laughing at something he said. It was the laugh that got me. It wasn't forced or polite. It was real. Genuine. The kind of laugh I hadn't given him in years. I tried to pretend I didn't care. I dated a bit myself, but no one stuck. They weren't Justin. They didn't know how I liked my coffee. They didn't know I snore when I've had too much wine. They didn't know the names of my childhood pets, or that I cry during cheesy commercials. Justin knew all of that. And I threw it away, because I thought I deserved some grand, sweeping romance. Turns out, I had it all along. I was just too blind to see it. Now, the kids slip Ashley's name into conversations like it's normal. Because to them it is. Ashley makes the best pancakes. Ashley helped me with my science project. I smiled through gritted teeth, nodding along like it didn't bother me. But it did. It still does. Last week, Emma left her school folder at Justin's place. I volunteered to pick it up. When I arrived, Ashley answered the door. She greeted me with that same annoyingly perfect smile, and invited me in. I almost declined, but curiosity, and maybe a little self-inflicted punishment, got the better of me. Their house was cozy, filled with the kind of warmth you can't fake. Family photos on the walls, kids' drawings on the fridge. It felt like home, the kind I used to have. I spotted Justin in the kitchen, laughing with our son over something on his phone. He glanced up, saw me, and gave a polite nod. Nothing more. No anger. No sadness. Just a man who had moved on. On the drive home, the folder sat untouched on the passenger seat. At every red light, I found myself staring at it, feeling the full weight of my mistakes. I had tested his love, pushed him to the edge, and expected him to fight for me. But he didn't. He left. And the worst part? He was right to. Now, a year later, I'm sitting in the same house, surrounded by the same walls. But everything feels different. The silence is heavier, filled with the echoes of words I can't take back. So if you've made it this far, here's my advice. Don't mistake comfort for complacency. Don't test someone's love just to see if it's real. Because sometimes, they'll pass the test by walking away. And they won't look back.